This is the femoral nerve glide. Setup is everything for this particular drill. I'm going to show you what works for me, but I'm going to give you some options that you can explore in terms of the setup. So first, let me show you the whole drill sequence. Basically, what I'm going to do is get into a position that resembles a traditional quad stretch. So for me, I like this 6-inch deficit off the ground. I'll place my knee on the target leg side, right on the block here, and then my trail leg here is propped up on a bench behind me. This particular setup just fits my body, allows me to nail this most precisely. So what I'm going to do is take you through the full tensioning sequence for the femoral nerve. Once you are propped up in this position, you have to get your target hip in extension, and you have to get into a posterior pelvic tilt. Those are the two most important things here. I have to extend and posteriorly tilt the pelvis, and I'm going to maintain those positions of those joints. Then I have to make sure that my knee is directly under my hip, and then from here I lengthen up tall through the spine. I'm still maintaining all of those pieces of the tensioning sequence, and I'm going to begin to slump through the head and neck, through the mid-back, and then eventually all the way down to the low back. As I go into the slumping process, I don't want to lose the hip extension and the posterior pelvic tilt. From here, I'm beginning to feel neural tension. Rule number one with all of our neuromechanics is we want the intensity of the neural tension to be at a 3 out of 10, but no more than a 3. Right now, when I slump into the low back, I'm feeling neural tension down through this area here, and it's at about a 3. Once I achieve the position with my neural tension, I'm going to drive from the hip. So while maintaining the whole tensioning sequence, I'm contracting my glute to further extend my hip while I'm in all the correct tensioning positions. I can also drive this with circles. So I can do little hip circles coming from here. Okay, so one more time. I'm in the position, extend the hip, posterior pelvic tilt, lengthen up tall, slump head and neck, slump mid-back, slump all the way down into the low back, maintain the entire tensioning process. You can also explore rotation away from the target side or towards the target side, and if you notice that your neural tension increases with one of those movements, you can actually use that movement to maintain more neural tension. For me, I'm finding my neural tension basically in this neutral position with flexion, and then from here I'm driving from the hip, and I feel that neural tension basically coming down through here and even into the kind of lower quadrant of my abdomen. Okay, so that is the femoral nerve glide. Now, I could start out in a half kneeling position on the ground. Sometimes people who do have a lot of neural tension can start here, and that's okay for them. I actually am able to feel a little neural tension in this position. For people that require more load and more challenge, you can do this freestanding, meaning I hold on to something for balance, I catch the quad stretch position. From here, I extend the hip, posteriorly tilt the pelvis. From here, I slump into the motion, and I can drive it from the hip with either lines or circles. And that is the femoral nerve glide.